Achan. Achan, whose name means troubler, was the son of Carmi, son of Zabdi, son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, found in the book of Joshua, serving as a lesson on obedience, corporate responsibility, and the severe consequences of sin. His life intersected with a pivotal moment in Israel's history, the conquest of Canaan. After the miraculous crossing of the Jordan River, the Israelites, led by Joshua, faced their first major hurdle, the heavily fortified city of Jericho. Before the battle, God gave specific instructions. The city and everything in it were to be devoted to destruction, meaning all the spoils, except for precious metals, which were to go into the Lord's treasury, were forbidden to be taken by the Israelites. Taking anything for personal gain was strictly prohibited and would bring a curse upon Israel. The fall of Jericho was a spectacular display of God's power. The walls collapsed after the Israelites marched around the city for 7 days, accompanied by trumpets and shouts, and the city was completely destroyed as commanded. However, unbeknownst to Joshua and the rest of the Israelites, Achan disobeyed God's clear command. Driven by covetousness, he secretly took a beautiful cloak of Shinar, 200 shekels of silver, and a bar of gold weighing 50 shekels, and buried them in his tent. The immediate consequences of Achan's sin was felt by the entire nation. When Joshua sent a small contingent of about 3,000 men to attack a much smaller city of Ai, they suffered a humiliating defeat, with 36 Israelites killed. This unexpected defeat caused Joshua and the elders prostrate themselves before the Lord, crying out in despair. God then revealed to Joshua the reason for their defeat. Israel had sinned. They have transgressed my covenant that I commanded them. They have taken some of the devoted things. They have stolen and lied and put them among their own belongings. God declared that he would not be with them unless the devoted thing was removed from their midst. Through a process of divine revelation using the Urim and Thummim, the identity of the transgressor was pinpointed. First, the tribe of Judah was singled out, then the clan of the Zerites, then the family of Zabdi, and finally Achan was identified. When confronted by Joshua, Achan confessed his sin, detailing exactly what he had taken and where he had hidden it in his tent. Joshua sent messengers to Achan's tent, and they found the forbidden items buried, just as Achan had described. The items were brought before the Lord. Then in the valley of Achan, meaning trouble, Achan, along with his entire family, his sons and daughters, his oxen, donkeys, sheep, tent, and all his possessions, were brought out and stoned to death. Afterward, they piled a great heap of stones over him. The severe punishment underscored the seriousness of corporate sin and the need for immediate and thorough purging of evil from the community for God's blessing to return. Only after Achan's judgment did God's anger turn away, and Israel was then able to successfully conquer Ai. Achan's story serves as a warning against covetousness, individual disobedience, and the principle that one person's sin can have devastating consequences for an entire community when that sin remains unconfessed and unjudged.
Subscribe to the channel or St. Nicholas will slap you when you get to heaven.
Become a member of the channel and get exclusive members-only content, courses, articles, audio, and much more, all in one place. We add new materials every single month, and we'd love to have you. Check out the links in the description or in the links for the channel. Let's take a look at the themes in Achan's story. First, consequences of disobedience. Achan's story is a stark example of the severe consequences of directly disobeying God's explicit commands, leading to both individual and corporate judgment. Second, corporate responsibility. The defeat of Ai demonstrates the principles that the sin of one individual can bring negative repercussions upon an entire community, highlighting the interconnectedness of God's people. Covetousness and materialism. Achan's desire for forbidden spoils illustrates the danger of materialism and prioritizing personal gain over divine commands and communal well-being. The holiness of God. God's immediate and severe judgment against Achan underscores his absolute holiness and his intolerance for sin, especially when it involves things devoted to him. Confessions and accountability. Achan's eventual confession though compelled, highlights the importance of acknowledging sin, even when it leads to severe consequences. Purity of the community. The purging of Achan and his household was necessary to restore the purity of the Israelite camp and God's favor. And lastly, the devoted thing. His story is central to understanding the concept of harem in the Old Testament, Herem, where certain spoils of war were utterly dedicated to God and forbidden for personal use. Here are some key points from Achan's life. Scripture references are below. He was of the tribe of Judah. He disobeyed God's command at Jericho. He secretly took a Shinarite cloak, silver and gold. His sin caused Israel's defeat at Ai. Israel suffered 36 casualties at Ai. God revealed the reason for defeat to Joshua, who was identified by Lot, in other words, divine revelation. Joshua confronted him. He confessed his sin. The items were found buried in his tent, the items brought before the Lord. He was then brought to the valley of Achor, punished with his entire family. His livestock and possessions also destroyed. He was stoned to death along with his family. This is a method of execution. His body burnt with fire after stoning. A great heap of stones piled over him. The valley was named Achor, trouble, because of him. God's anger turned away after his judgment. His story serves as a warning against disobedience and covetousness, a critical lesson for future generations of Israel. Achan, a dead man.
Subscribe to the channel or St. Nicholas will slap you when you get to heaven.